We are duck hunting fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies. Only duck hunting fanatics know what it feels like to see a brightly colored Drake mallard cup its wings and soar towards your decoys. It's what we do, and it's what we love. Duck hunting fanatics with boots on the ground, eyes in the skies reports. And we get it from professional duck guides all across the country. We interview them for their top tips and tricks from their years of experience from the duck hunting blind. This is Duck Hunting Fanatics, and this is Eric Wilks.
Greetings, my friends. This is Eric Wilks here with Duck Hunting Fanatics, and I have on the line with me here Daniel Mancine of Mancine Outdoors. And Daniel, we get a lot of new duck hunters that tend to follow Duck Hunting Fanatics. What's your number one tip for people who are just kind of getting started or just been exposed to duck hunting, maybe for the first time, maybe they've been doing it for a year or two, but they're hooked?
Okay. Well, as a newer duck hunter myself, just being in it for a few years, and what I've learned, I would say the number one tip, if I had to break it down to anything, is just be patient and don't look at the birds. When they're flying in and flying around, you have a habit to just want to stare at them and see what they're doing. Don't move. Let them do their thing. Just and stay positive too, because it can be discouraging when you got 20 ducks coming in. They look like they're going to cup up, and then they veer off somewhere else. Just stay patient, stay calm, don't move, don't look, and just relax.
Greetings, everybody. Eric Wilks here with Duck Hunting Fanatics, and I have Roland Cortez from Arkansas County Duck Guide Service on the line with me here. We get a lot of guys that are new to duck hunting. They've been hunting maybe a year, maybe two, maybe 3 years, and they're asking us lots of questions. And one of those questions, and I'm going to ask you, is what's the number one tip that you would have for a newbie duck hunter who's just kind of getting into the sport? They've maybe killed a few ducks, but they're hooked.
Man, what I would do is that I try to get as much information on duck hunting that you can. Duck hunting's a great sport. I've done it all my life, and the more information you can get on duck and goose hunting, the better you are. There's lots of books, there's lots of information out there to get acquainted more if you're a newbie duck hunter. Learning to blow duck calls, goose calls, learning how to put decoys out. There's so much information today out there than what there has in years past.
Greetings, Duck Hunting Fanatics. Eric Wilks here, and I have on the line with me Beau Davis from Beau's Outdoors out in Northeast Colorado. Now, Beau, thanks for joining us here this afternoon.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Hey, good. So how long have you been a professional guide, Beau?
About 15 years. I got into it on a preserve deal at about 5,000 acres, then went to an Orvis Lodge, and then I moved out to northeastern Colorado, became a crop consultant, and then had access to thousands of acres. And I had a degree in wildlife biology as well, and loved to hunt ever since I was a kid. Decided to start my own business, and now I run Beau's Outdoors, and this is my 9th season, and I have a lodge, and can sleep 10, and now just making a run at being a full-time outfitter out here.
Beau, we get a lot of guys that are just kind of getting into hunting, but they've gotten hooked. What's your number one tip for guys that are just getting into duck hunting?
Be patient, and try not, if you're just learning how to call, don't overcall and don't call out when they're right on top of you. The old adage of, corners and tails is definitely something to take note of. And if you can't call, just location. Do scouting, scout some more, because 90% of that and being successful day in, day out is being where they want to be. So if you can find out where they're at or where they're, feeding, or they got some little corner in a big reservoir or somewhere on a pond that they like to be, set up a few dozen decoys out there. You don't always have to go big, especially if you're a new guy. You can't afford all those decoys. really just try to, mimic what ducks are doing and understand their body language. Do what they want and make it easy for them to come in there. And I think the more you're patient, the less you try not to overcall or do too much, you'll have more birds to harvest day in, day out.
Greetings, everybody. Eric Wilks here with Duck Hunting Fanatics, and on the line with me here I have Kyle Homra of Homra's Guide Service down in Tennessee. So you've got a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience, and you're out there in the field every year. You've been guiding for a really long time. We're getting a lot of new guys that are just, within the last couple of years, just getting into duck hunting. What would your number one tip be for a newbie duck hunter who's just kind of getting started, but they're hooked?
Well, I'd say you don't have to, just break the bait to get started. You can get you a couple dozen nice decoys, and you can always get some black Coke bottles, 2-liter Coke bottles, maybe some milk jugs or just some kind of jugs, and paint them up a flat black, maybe 12 or 15 of them to throw in with your decoys. It adds to your spread, kind of a filler decoy, and they'll pick up on it from a long way. The black, they will. It's a cheap way to add to your spread, and it's very effective. You'll find that the ducks are lighting those black decoys a lot of times instead of your prettier ones.
We are duck hunting fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies.